business, biceps, a little BS. Fitness mixed with finance, now you're really gonna see us as we're learning, growing. All your minds we're blowing, earning while we're burning. Shirts are tight, so games are showing. Resolve, evolve, absolve, it's time to make a move. Better check yourself, cause if you're doubting, no, we got the proof. Voices speaking loud, cause we're proud about what we can do. Tickling your ears with CPE, rooted in the truth.
In the wildwood of accounting, we all know garbage data in means garbage data out. The same thing applies to your body. As a C-suite guy who obviously lifts, I want to be just as sharp in the boardroom as I am in the weight room. I don't have time for guesswork supplements or flashy nonsense, and that's why I use Redcon One. Clean ingredients, real formulas, stuff that actually works when you're training at 5 a.m. at the gym or burning midnight oil in your month-end grind. So whether you're an accounting bro, finance bro, or business leader in an NGO, if you want more energy, better recovery, and fewer excuses, this is your sign. Head to redcon1.com and use promo code BIZBYESandBS for 20% off. Don't just audit your numbers, audit your nutrition by leaning into America's favorite supplements at Redcon One. Yeah.
I'm glad you're here. So we are with Jeff Cuellar. Okay, hold on. Just for the record, so everybody knows your name. It looks like cellular. Yep. I want to say Cuellar like the donut, but that's a crawler.
Yes,
right?
I think so. That sounds right.
But even though you look like every actor out there, that's just, I mean, this beard is glorious. I'm so excited. So if your wife is listening to this, keep the beard. Keep the beard. I don't care if it's itchy. I don't care if it gets in the way. No more kisses. No more kisses. And I want to grow a beard too. So please, one, tell me how to say your last name. So for everybody else, and then tell me about Sixthman. This is an awesome organization.
Last name Cuellar.
Cuellar.
Yeah. So country of origin Spain. So it's Spanish. So the yells make the L's make the yas.
The yells make the yas. Mm-hmm. All right. Very good. Okay. So Sixthman.
Sixthman. So what? I mean, the elevator kind of pitch of it is what we do is we specialize in identifying extremely passionate communities and then producing an immersive event with them or for them that is centered around some idea. Typically, music has been our bread and butter and where the company started from, but we take over a cruise ship. So when you think of a music festival or something along those lines, and you go to a place, whether that is a venue like Madison Square Garden, a parking lot somewhere, a farm, wherever it may be, that venue for us is a cruise ship. And because it is contained in a way and it's multi-day and you stay there, the ability for that community to interact, be together, and all be there to enjoy that one thing starts to create something truly special. So again, music, I think it's an easier one to see because everyone goes to concerts, everyone does kind of festivals and stuff, but we do so much more, from the Savannah Bananas.
What?
Yeah. Chefs Making Waves. So I have a culinary version of it.
Of the bananas?
No, you have the bananas. Yeah. They might have some banana stuff there. But that is what we do, and it's been a lot of fun. We celebrate 25 years.
That's incredible.
As a company next year.
That's incredible.
And it's good. In fact, the event that started all, the Rock Boat, will sail January of 2026, and that'll be its 25th.
Interesting. Do you guys have merchandise that say Rock Boat?
We have a lot of merchandise.
Like coffee tumblers?
There's probably some coffee tumblers.
Interesting. I wonder if that's going to make it. I wonder if that's going to make it into the frame at any point.
It could.
Okay. Yeah. No, Jeff was concerned. He's like, "Can I drink coffee on set?" Yes, you can drink coffee. Can I have branded merchandise? Of course.
We do have branded. This one's Rock the Bells. This is our hip hop event.
Very good.
With that brand.
No, what I find fascinating about what you do, so obviously with the Savannah Bananas, we are also in the event space, right? Live events. That's what people want to come and enjoy, and it's not just an event to them; it's an experience, right? Right. So when people are coming to our Savannah Bananas events, it's one of those things where there is a level of expectation that they want Some of them, they've been there before, and it's like, okay, that level of expectation actually gets raised because they're like, oh, what are they going to do differently to keep my attention? But we have the little, I guess, the adage that every game is somebody's first game. And so what that means is that the energy that you had last night, that, yeah, we may not be playing in a big venue, I get it. It's not the MLBs, it's not the NFL stadiums, it's not the 80,000 screaming fans, or gosh, coming up, we're going to be in Texas A&M, we're going to be up in Knoxville, 101,000 fans looking at a baseball diamond on their football field. So yeah, and only the bananas will come in and just wreck the stage, right? So, but these people, they're there for an experience. They know that there's something about being in that vicinity with all these other people who have that same expectation. And so the level of excellence, the bar for excellence is very, very high. And so it's our job, just like it is your job, or the entertainers who you have on your rock boats and what have you, to make sure that experience is in fact not only what they anticipated, but how are we exceeding that experience? Because you want them to come back, right?
Exactly.
So in being in the live space, obviously there's a lot of different things that happen. But you say you're on cruise ships. I don't think people really understand this. Going to a Lollapalooza. Going to a Burning Man, going to what's that one that was a failure down in the oh gosh, the Fire Festival.
That never happened. So yeah.
What? No, it's Fire Festival. There's number 2 coming out.
Oh, it's
the dude's gonna do it again.
No, it's not.
No, but I just want to visit him in jail when he goes back. And it's like, tell me. What was your inspiration for the sequel of the Fire Festival? No, but when people are descending upon a physical location, all of a sudden that location becomes Burning Man. It becomes Lollapalooza. It becomes the X Games, what have you, because of the people who are there. It's not the location that does it. However, being on a cruise ship, there's another element here that now you are away from land. You are out there with all your people, and so tell me about how that feels once you leave port. I mean, are all bets off?
I would say on the location side, I actually do say the location means something. It means something truly special when you think about certain events. They can't be anyplace else. That is where it is, and that is part of the community. And you go there. I mean, you think about it with baseball stadiums. I mean,
certainly.
If you're going to Fenway, I mean, part of the experience is I'm going to Fenway. Yeah, that's it. I mean, Wrigley, as a diehard Cubs fan, when I go to Wrigley, I'm going to Wrigley, and I get to see a Cubs game.
There you go.
And I say the same thing with, Billy Joel. When I think Billy Joel, I think Madison Square Garden, immediately with him. So I do think place does matter. But what is interesting, I think, about the cruise ship aspect of it is, one, you live there. So I'm not just going to someplace and then, either going to enjoy the city, staying in a hotel. You're there living with the people, but the ship itself is the place.
Yeah.
And then it's almost like a twofer in a sense, the place, I know I get to be on a ship, and after you've done, really one, you start to figure out how to get around, where to get around, and the kind of the spaces that you enjoy. I like to have coffee at the great outdoors. I like to do this. So it becomes the place, but then our place moves. So we can say, let's go have a day at Great Stirrup Cay. Let's go to Cozumel. Let's go to the Dominican Republic. Let's go to Alaska and get to go do. So you have your place, and then your place takes you to another place. So it's almost the best of both worlds from the standpoint. I still get my creature comforts of what I expect, but then I also get to really see parts of the world that maybe you weren't going to go to for whatever reason.
I think that's really cool. So I do have a little treat for you. And I know you're looking at my shirt and you're loving it. So this is our 5th team of the bananas.
Love it. Yeah.
The coconuts, the Loco Beach coconuts. By the way, people are like, where's Loco Beach? It's doesn't matter. It's in your head, right? It is a made up place. Yeah. People all over the internet, the interwebs are like, Loco Beach don't exist, right? It's relax. So, but because I'm from Cocoa Beach, it's okay, it rhymes. I kind of like that. Yeah. So this is now, I'm going to take off the bag because the bag,
I'm excited.
I just don't want you to put on your head again. We already done that before. So it's a choking hazard. But no, this is your very own Loco Beach jersey.
Oh, that's fantastic.
You are, so now in February, when we take our Banana Land at Sea cruise, you are now decked out and ready to rock and roll.
I'm ready to go. I love
it.
This is fantastic.
So the 5 is because it is our 5th team. But yeah, so it's very, this has now become my favorite team. Sorry, Bananas, I think you guys are great too. But this Local Beach Coconuts, I mean, the vibe that you get when you're on a cruise ship, when you're coming into port, the steel drums, it's all going to be indwelt inside this logo, right? So it's super excited to.
I will say I'm a little partial to the party animals.
Party animals are awesome too. They know how to rock the boat. They do that, right? They do. Yeah, they got to be careful. The party animals after dark, man. That's we remember that silent disco that we did?
Oh yeah.
The silent disco is funny because we had a guy. The story about it is that we had one DJ. We need another DJ, and so one of the guys that works with us came in and was the DJ. Well, he's actually a real DJ. He was a radio DJ, so he knows what the different mixes are and for different crowds. And they said, so basically I think it was in the, is it called not Spinnakers? That's
the place.
Bliss. Was the one?
I think it was Bliss.
Okay, yeah. So it's up front. We're having a good time. Everybody's dancing, and then all of a sudden, like they basically told him, like, look, it's 18 and over, so there's no children here. 18 and over, and there are going to be people that have drinks, right? So it's kind of like, okay, not 18-year-old, but you know what I mean. And so he's like, okay, this is my crowd, and so he starts playing the music that 18 and older people would want to know. Now you can't hear it, right? So you're just in there, you're seeing people all dancing. It's either a red light or a blue light or a green light on there. If you've never seen one of these things, they're so fun to watch. Like, what are they doing?
So I guess for those that don't know what a silent disco is there's typically one or multiple DJs. I'd say multiple. It can be like 1 to 3, and you walk in and you put headphones on. So if you see this shenanigans that are going on, everyone's dancing, but if you don't have the headphones on, you hear no music, and so you're kind of like, that's weird. This is like a silent party that I don't get. You put and you kind of make fun of them. You're like, look at those people dancing, they look weird. And then you put the headphones on, and you're like, oh wait, that's my jam, and you start dancing with them. But you have the ability to change who you're listening to on stage, and so the DJs are jockeying literally to get you to, so they can see your color.
Yes.
So they can be like, look, red's winning, blue's winning, or something like. So they're having their own mini competition of like, who can I get more to listen to? And you're having this other communal experience. Oh, you're listening to blue, I'm listening to blue. You got it.
So you were dancing with this one group. Someone switches, and all of a sudden there's a group over there doing country line dancing. There's a couple groups. There's a group over there doing booty dancing. It's like you're looking around. It's like, who do I want to be with? Who do I want to be with?
Exactly.
You flick it over, and it's like you start line dancing, right?
Yeah.
It is so crazy. So this guy took the liberty to use his radio, and he started playing some of the choice music that you would get at a Miami club, right?
I get it.
And we came back and we're like, okay, so fans first, families, we got a whole bunch of like. We just gotta keep. There's something that we have to hold on to here. So
you went here, we gotta.
Even if you go to like Disney, what's the Disney one? The Pleasure Island.
Oh yeah.
you know what I'm talking about. They have all the dance clubs and stuff like that.
Is that yes, Pleasure Island.
It's Pleasure Island.
So.
Something like that.
Something like
I'm thinking like Disney City Walk. Something like that. But it's where they all go to the dance clubs, right? There's multiple dance clubs everywhere. Even there, they won't play like explicit language or something. Here's the goofy part about this. You can't hear the music, but you can hear the people who are singing it, and it's all out of tune. And they're like beep 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 beep. So you're looking around, and half the people have no idea. They're standing right next to them. They have no idea what's happening because they can't hear what everybody else is doing. But then you're like half the room is like rah rah rah. It's like, what is going on? We had to. It's like, hey, we need medium music.
You're at 11. We need to take you down to like 7.
Seven. Let's bring it down to the fans first, right? No, that was one of my all-time favorite memories. And to hear the DJ talk about, because he was there for all 3 nights, and to hear him talk about what the expectation was for the first night, he's like, "Oh, I want to jam." And of course, when the DJs are talking, and they're in your ears too. Yep. So they're telling jokes and things like that, and literally the only person you can hear are the DJs who are speaking in the mics. People laughing, this, that, and the other. Outside looking in, it's the craziest thing to watch, but the instant you put on those headphones, you are immersed in one culture. Now you flip it, now you're in a different culture. No, those are super fun. But those are things you get to do on these events, that you're taking someone out on a boat, You're providing entertainment, and the entertainment's not just the in this case the rock band or the country band or whoever it is, the music professional. You also have to make sure that during the when the A show's not on, that these people have other things to do.
Correct.
So how do you plan that out?
Very carefully.
Yeah.
I say it's a lot of listening. So depending upon the model, we have a couple models. One we call a host model, where we work with, say, a specific artist and curate an experience around them. And you really kind of get to get behind the scenes into how they are thinking and what makes them tick and what they potentially want to put out in front of in front of an audience. Like Andrew McMahon is one that we do an event with, and I mean he's in. I know of three bands that he's in. So you're going to potentially get an experience from all three of those bands that happened on his last event, plus other artists that are coming in, and then other things. And things could be like, I want to do a silent disco and maybe I'm going to DJ it. Perhaps there's a podcast taping where we can actually have it set up, whether it's on our stage on the pool deck stage or in a theater, and people can witness and watch that happen. And this could be a podcast that is out everywhere, wherever you catch your podcasts. So we work with the artist, and I say artist in the biggest terms because we're talking comedians, we're talking brands that that have leagues to Hallmark. Bachelor Nation was one we just dropped recently. Our chefs. I mean, we have Bobby Flay now getting ready to go out and do part of our Chefs Making Waves. So the conversations happen with them to I don't want to say fill in because that doesn't give it really justice, but to curate that content of what is the adventure that we want the fans to be on. We want them to be immersed in an environment. So yes, you're on a ship, but I want you to not think that you're on a ship and more or less think, I'm in the world of the Savannah Bananas. So what is that?
Yeah.
And I mean, I'd say true pleasure working with with the Banana team in terms of like, you guys are just insanely creative for one.
Thank you.
But being able to say like, what could be a good time? Are we gonna teach dance lessons? Like, there's obviously a lot of dancing. Teach me how to do what could be a number in between a game. How are we doing trick shots? So those type of interactive experiences that really give people one-on-one. But then I'd say even go further than that. Like from an artist perspective, like maybe you're partial to your mom's mac and cheese recipe. Can we include that somewhere
cool.
in the culinary side of things? Can we create custom things? The branding of it. So yes, there are casinos on the ship. Isn't it better if that felt is the brand that you're like looking for? So when you're playing blackjack or poker, that you actually are even immersed in there, and those little things. And I'd say the last piece of it is just listening. So when you get these fans together pre-crew or pre-event, once you buy your cabin, you're now invited to be a part of kind of the I'd say the Facebook group where you can be talking. And we've got people that are listening and paying attention, like, because they're predicting what it's going to be until we release that schedule. So they see the lineup like, oh man, I wonder if they're going to do this. And we can communicate this back to the artist and try to take advantage of it. And in a way of like, they're wanting this experience, let's deliver it. Let's do some surprise and delight. And that carries over to actually being on the ship. And our team is spread out everywhere. There should never be a time where you're walking around, I'd say in a public area, obviously, where you shouldn't see one of our team members. So they're paying attention. And if they find out it's an anniversary, they find out it's a birthday, we're going to try and do something special to have those little surprise and delights. So it carries all the way through. But I think at first of it comes down to listening and being able to say, okay, what can we do? Because you really have, while there are limitations just because you are on a ship, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
Like you want to try and do...
You're in international waters.
Exactly. Yeah, anything goes in international waters. So it really, we can have a lot of fun in terms of what we're able to do. I mean, wrestling. So we do an event with Chris Jericho, Rock and Wrestling, which actually just announced yesterday.
Awesome.
It's seventh year of coming back. We have a wrestling ring. There is a catwalk coming from the
stage. Where the pool is?
Yeah, it's
you put a wrestling ring there?
We build a legit,
this is
actual,
awesome.
like, 2-spec wrestling ring.
Yeah.
So people are coming out to enjoy this. They actually get to see.
Oh, so they can see on the balcony and look down onto
it.
Oh my gosh,
They're
what a
watching
show.
an actual wrestling. And then there's like a rock show afterwards. You got Chris Jericho, because he's a member of Fozzy, rocking out for everyone. So all of our events really cater around to what makes it special for them, and then how do we amplify that and immerse them in that work?
Okay, so I got a question for you. Certainly with the Savannah Bananas, that we have a ton of characters, right? So not only are entertaining players, our players themselves are essentially characters, right?
Yeah.
They're becoming their own social media.
They're stars.
They're doing
Stars.
they're doing great jobs. And even for the younger guys, as long as if they're wearing a brand, people are like, oh my gosh, you're a player. This, that, and the other. The coach, even the coaches are starting to get out there. Even some front office people are actually making some waves, which is really cool. So it's really easy, I think, from the Savannah Bananas perspective, that when you have so many people that are walking the ship, it almost just becomes less of a shell shock, like, oh my gosh. It's not shell shock. Starstruck is what I'm thinking of, where people fanboy out in the first like maybe 4 hours, 6 hours, but then they kind of settle in and like, oh yeah, I'm hanging out with the bananas. I'm hanging out with the party animals. We're all hanging out at the beach, or we're just having some drinks, or we're playing some blackjack, and you're just hanging out with these guys, right? But there are some other challenges that you have when you have, say, an entertainer come on. Maybe it's one person with a band, or maybe it's like four guys, 5 guys, 6 girls, whatever it is, and there's not that many of them. And so the question is like when the talent is actually walking around the ship and hopefully engaging with their 2,000 closest friends, it's like tell me about how you encourage them to go out and be part of the hoi polloi, but also how do you protect their time and basically their mental acuity when it seems to be getting a little overwhelming?
That's a great question, because there is an advantage, in this Savannah Bananas, because there's so many teams that people can be everywhere and satisfy that interaction part of it. When you have that one actor, that one person, it can be challenging. I think that's where we look more for what are the activities and what are the touch points that we can naturally provide, and then looking for other opportunities, like can we maneuver them through a crowd in a way. It is all really up to them, like what is their comfort level too. We've got some artists that don't want an escort. They're like, I'm gonna grab a guitar, I'm gonna do whatever, and I'm gonna go walk.
Jericho,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'm gonna walk around, and it
go.
just doesn't matter. Like I'm gonna go down and I'm playing craps. Like I'm gonna hit the tables, and like that's where you're gonna find me, and people can go either join in and watch, and that's what it is. And there are others that I think definitely hit like maybe a different star status, or you just recognize, and it's that kind of that conversation again, listening and kind of paying attention to the social cues. Is like, all right, we've got to get them back to their space so they can decompress and get ready for maybe a performance or an interview or whatever it may be, but give them the time to decompress. And a lot of them, a lot of our artists that stay on, again, using artists in the biggest realm of it, is they'll bring families. So we've got special accommodations for them and their families, so they can have their almost their own experience. Norwegian Cruise Lines is famous for the Haven, and a Haven is kind of ship within a ship.
Beautiful.
And that is where we put a lot of our talent up there, so that they can kind of have that experience if it's a significant other or if it's family, whoever it may be, so they can have their respites. They can recharge that battery to go out and do it again. And there are ways for us to get around, just like the crew gets around, without being seen in certain ways.
Sure.
We have the ability to take talent and maneuver them through places. So like, hey, this probably isn't a good time to go through the atrium. Let's go around and take you through a different space to get you where you need to go. But a lot of it's working with them. Just like all people, I'm having good days and bad days.
So it comes down to the comfort level of the individual artists and the people that are around them. I know that there probably are, a lot of artists, even though they're on stage and they're entertaining and doing their thing, a lot of them are actually more introverted than you think. And they just they launch out there, they have great energy, but then afterwards they get so like that energy gets sapped, and they just need to be away, like you say, recharge the batteries. But even when you're on a cruise ship, it's only so big. And you can only hide in so many places, right? So even when you go down, you want to just get a cup of coffee, or you just want to go down to get a slice of pizza or something like that. You're being recognized, and so you're always on stage. The instant you walk out, you descend from the Haven, you descend that stairwell. People, you might have people waiting there. It's like, oh hey, can you sign this? And part of the job, right? It's part of the job. There's a handful of players that when you ask them about the celebrity status that they've achieved, a lot of them just look at you kind of wary and say, it's I don't know. It's just I don't know how to handle this, right? And I think for the most part they're doing a good job. I mean, they're young men. A lot of them are really good looking. They're athletic. I mean, they're in a really hot sport. They're in a really fun demographic. But even that can take a wear and tear. And then you put them on a boat with, again, 2,000 of their closest fans. And now literally the only place you can get away is either if you go into your room, or you guys have set aside like green rooms, or you shut down a restaurant or something. That's kind of the back end or something like that. Nobody behind the velvet roast thing.
Exactly.
Just giving them that respite. No, I think that's a good thing. So I think we've fast forwarded through what we're doing now, but I really think your origin story needs to be told. So how does Sixthman become a thing? Okay. What does Sixthman even mean? How did you become a part of Norwegian Cruise Lines? Because you said you're in your 25th year.
25th year.
It's 25 years. That's a solid statement that says people love what you're providing. Yeah. So how did you guys come up with this idea? Where did it come from, and why have you been so successful?
I appreciate you saying that. It's one thing I've talked with the team about is, I mean, we have some plans for our 25th year, and to really celebrate the fact, because you really look around, there's not a lot of companies that make it 25 years. I mean, let alone in the entertainment space. Yeah. But I mean, it's a feat. And I mean, to your exact point, I guess we're doing something right, and let's keep doing that, and keeping our North Star of, and I think it's kind of kismet of our two companies is fan first. Is really making sure that we take care of our guests in a way that they want to keep coming back, and providing the opportunities to do the kind of interactions that we have the opportunity to. So I think if we keep that North Star, we have some things that make it right. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to make it right. We have how we communicate with our fans, the opportunities and stuff we provide. I think those are the things that make the glue, and there's a level of trust that we've been able to build over this time frame. But to start it off,
real quick. So then someone has a great experience at one of the live events, and it might be something like a country concert or a hip hop, whatever. But then they experience what it's like to be on the ship in this environment, and then all of a sudden they're like, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll do electronic music, EDM at sea. Maybe I'll try something else. Maybe I'll try, because they had such a great time at this event, that maybe all I'm doing is I'm changing out the music, changing out the genre, if you will. Of course, you're changing out the people and the energy too. But the fact that they've had such a good time on this, they felt like they've been taken care of. That now makes them want to do other types of ships to follow even more people.
Right. Or I mean, we're all passionate about multiple things.
Certainly.
So maybe we haven't gotten to your other concept yet, or the other idea you have, or you've now, to your point, I like vacationing like this. I like this experience. Now am I more apt to try this because that sounds kind of fun.
Very banana-esque. So the instant you go to a banana show, with all the music, all the entertainment, people are doing like that fly ball to the outfield. Yeah. He actually did a backflip and caught it. Then you go to a normal MLB game, and you're like, "Where's all the music? Like, why is it just an organ? Why can I hear that guy chewing his gum? That guy's not doing a backflip. It's like, where's all the entertainment, right? But no, you're right. And once you experience what it's like to be on your Sixthman excursions, I mean, it becomes one of those like, well, that's the way I want to cruise in the future.
Yeah.
That is really cool.
You can't go back. You're like, but it's also, I would say, it's also not the relaxing vacation. Like if your mind is like, I'm gonna go relax by the pool, like this is not the experience for you. Like stick with the standard cruise. Yeah, exactly. But the crossover, I mean, I love thinking one of our events. We've been doing an event with Train, Sail Across the Sun for a number of years. Well, Pat came out and sang during a game.
That was awesome.
I look at it as like, you can be passionate about multiple things, and how many fans did maybe he did Train convert from there, and then how many banana fans are that whole crossover side of things. So it's it's there, and I think, but yeah, if you've had the experience, I like this. This is what I want to do with my time. That opportunity is there.
So tell me about the origin story. I got to hear it. I think it's worthwhile because again, you've been around for 20 25 years. But what was the seed that started this whole thing? How did it grow? And now that you guys are out there doing it, how is it going to go into the future?
I hope I don't mess this up, because I was not a part of this. So this
Okay.
is you're getting a third party account, or through the line account. So the founder of the company, Andy Levine, he was the manager at the time for Sister Hazel.
Out of what great city?
That's out of God, it's in
Gainesville,
Florida.
Gainesville, Florida.
That's
Go
it.
Gators! That's what I'm talking about.
As a ball fan, that's the reason why I try to probably block that out. But yeah, so he's managing Sister Hazel, and if I'm correct in this, happened to be on a plane and trying to figure out what was like the next move. What are they going to kind of do? And I believe the person sitting next to him, as they're just kind of making your single serving friend there, they're having that conversation. And I believe she was a travel agent, or she just knew about it. She goes, "Have you ever thought about taking over, like renting out a cruise ship?" And I think that is, and I mean, of course, he was like, no. And that's what started off. And that conversation led to the conversation with the band that led to the launch of the first rock boat.
Awesome.
And so that was the event that started it all, and that was the event that kind of carried it through to get it going. So Sixthman, how it became a name, it does reference basketball, or it does reference that from that standpoint, but mainly from the Sixthman coming off the bench. Like, so the Sixthman it's not the superstar. It's not, it's not your starter. It's Sixthman coming off the bench, but it's the glue. Like, I think everyone views the Sixthman coming off the bench as that's your workhorse. That's the person that's getting the job done. That's behind the scenes. That's pulling the team together in ways that the superstar others can't. Let them shine, but let's get some of this dirty work done.
Yeah.
So we can be successful in it. And that's where it came from. Is the idea of we are the ones behind the scenes making this happen. So we're the promoter to ensure whatever we're producing, gets, that's who's taking the stage. So we're getting it done and making it work. I've heard of one other reference in there as well, but that's kind of where it came and where it started. And
yeah, I like it.
And has just continued on from there. And I know we used to work with some other ships, so we were not owned by Norwegian. I want to say it's 2013, 14, somewhere in that neighborhood. And it probably needs to be fact checked exactly. But we've been with Norwegian for over 10 years now. We started using Norwegian ships primarily because they have a class called the Jewel class in there. And why that has been fantastic for us. One is it's like the perfect size. So
about
we can
2,000, 2,400 people?
About 2,000 to 2,500. They can go more than that if you've got like some artists or something that pack what we call 3s and 4s, if you're going to put 3 and 4 people in a cabin. But we base everything off of double occupancy. But the kicker is we can put the main stage, the pool deck stage, everybody who has purchased a ticket, or everybody who has a cabin can be on the pool deck stage and see the one crescendo thing. So if you're thinking of music or a band or a number of whatever it may be, it can be, everyone can see it there. And there's really only one other ship in the fleet that has that capability. And that's we use another ship called the Joy, which is double the size of that. So we're actually using the Joy for a couple of other events.
Cool.
For it, EDC is our partnership with Insomniac. They have Electric Daisy Carnival. We do EDC, SEA. That was the first one we did on the Joy, and then we've now graduated some events. So like Chefs Making Waves.
That sounds cool.
It's now the one we're doing with Bobby Flay and friends and more. That one's going to be on the Joy. Our event Emo's Not Dead has moved up to the Joy. Summer of '99 with Creed
Not Dead.
has moved up to the Joy. So we have some events that I think make it work on that ship, but there is the community side and keeping it tight on a Jewel class ship. And so we've been fortunate enough to be under the Norwegian umbrella and work with them, and I think they understand the value that we bring to the table, because no other cruise line, to the best of my knowledge, has a Sixthman that can that is a promoter that can do these types of things and reimagine kind of what is going on a ship and really open up a new audience to cruising. Because I think there are I hear a lot of times like, I never in a million years would have thought I was ever going to go on a cruise. That experience was phenomenal. I actually will come back and maybe may have the more relaxing side of it.
Type cruise, yeah, sure.
Or keep coming back and doing, doing another event with us. So, yeah,
okay, so when you're putting on these live events and you're making them immersive, there's certainly a lot of things that you're taking care of, a lot of tiny things that people don't really realize are happening, but that make the extra. They go the extra mile and they seal the gaps, right? I think that something that I found was really, really enlightening to me is that your staff is they're not 50-year-old people, right? They are most of them they fit a particular demographic, and I love how you. I'm gonna let you describe who your staff is. But one thing I absolutely love about what they bring to the table is that not only is there energy there, but it's also the ideas that they come up with. It's just because they aren't. They might follow country, they might follow electronic, they might follow hip hop, but you might have the country guy like, hey, we should try this over on the hip hop side, and it's like. Wait a second, that sounds kind of okay. Wait, you know what? That might actually work. So improv rules, what have you. So tell me about the inner workings of Sixthman. Who are your staff? Like who was the right, like if I had a friend that said, and I saw like the gleam in their eye and I said, you need to go work for Sixthman. Who is that person?
I'd say a solutions-oriented person.
Okay.
Someone, because there's always a challenge that has to be overcome in some form or fashion. And how are we identifying and tackling that challenge? And I think what has been, if you kind of like boil it down, the successful people of the organization, we say, are salty people. So those who have been with the company for quite some time. I know we've got some that are hitting like 18 years. 18 years with the company.
Wow.
So they are very salty. We've got some contractors. So like our family isn't just our full-time people, but we've got contractors that I'm gonna shout out to Dave Scruggs. I believe he has hit 2 full years at sea.
That's incredible. So when you say contractors, these are your sound and lighting folks and things like that.
A lot. Okay. So I mean, these are people like that. There's a lot of gig workers in our business that go out and do multiple festivals. Sure. That work for a venue for a short period of time. No, it's more than sound and lights. I mean, there's venue managers. There's we call like production assistants that are helping us run activities and doing various things. Like these are those folks are the lifeblood that allow us to be able to operate during event season. So you've got like your full-time staff that is focused on the entire run and ensuring that we can launch an event. And what we mean by launch event is like announce it, put it on sale, be able to hit all the channels with marketing, start to put it all together. But a lot of our, I would say, execution will also come down to our contractor, our extended family that comes on board to be able to do this. And that's pretty common within the event world. But this is even with the contractor side of it. I look at it as these are solutions-oriented people. It is not it's more of a can-if attitude. Like, don't say no. Let's get to the yes. And yes, maybe, yes, we can do this, but we need more money. We need more time. We need something to make it happen. But let's figure out the solution for it, or, maybe not this, but if that tweak or turning the wheel in some way. And I would say, I look at every single position from our guest services to marketing to production to our web developers. That is the I'd say the winning attitude that allows them to be successful. And those that come in with having no days at sea, not salty at all yet, that is probably the common trait that you see is like they understand that this is not going to be easy. It's going to be nights, weekends, holidays.
Yes.
All of that can happen.
That's in the job description before they show up, right?
It is in the job description. I mean, right. even if you're manning the phones and answering, doing guest service calls to help people, walk them through, booking their the event with them. Those things happen, and I think it outside of that attitude of being solutions oriented, it is also the attitude of like, this is my passion. This is where I want to be, and I look at it as almost like a drug in a sense. I've been asked before, being in this business now, God, I mean, I've been doing live events for close to 25 years around there, and it flipped for me when I realized I'm not in this for the stars. Like while I was on the music, primarily on the music side, doing massive music festivals, I loved seeing and feeling 80,000 people screaming for whoever's on stage. I did enjoy that. Still a huge music fan, but early in my career, this is about 2004, I realized I'm actually not doing it for them. I'm doing it for the people. I get more out of seeing and hearing someone say, like, did you hear that guitar riff on song 3? Like, oh my God, it melted my face and changed my life. I met my wife. We were both dancing. I met my wife during this song, at this event. I did this. This is the one time where all of my friends get together from all over the country to be here. Like all of those kind of, I'm even getting goosebumps talking about it. That is the driver for me. And I do believe for those that stay in this business and keep doing it, because it's unforgiving. It doesn't change in a lot of ways. Like it is always, you try to make things better, you try to make things more efficient, but there's inevitably something crazy is going to happen. Like, hey, we didn't get X thing on the ship because of Y traffic or something along those lines. How we think there's always some type of, I don't want to call it drama, but something that has to be solved.
We got to pivot.
It's not easy. We got to pivot in some way. And that is with a lot of jobs. I mean, I don't want to say this, but I say live, you don't have a choice. Like I can't push a date. If the artist is going on the stage at 8 o'clock, like that's
when you say it happens in a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs, you can like go out to Walmart. Right? It's like, you can't go out to Walmart when you're on the ship.
I will say that is.
If it doesn't go on the ship, it's not on a ship.
Having done live and having done music festivals for so many years before I came to Sixthman, I kind of walked in. I'll say I walked in probably a little bit, confident. Like I've been doing this for a long time. Man, it's such a different business. I'm like, how is it so different? Like the ship, because I can't get off the ship and be like, let's send a runner to Home Depot to grab X, Y, and Z because we need more gaff tape or whatever it may be. That can't happen anymore.
It ends up being like the Apollo 13, where you just they take the scientist, he takes the box, dumps it on. It's like, we need to keep those guys alive. This is what they have. Make it happen.
MacGyver.
Right?
So it is, but again, it still goes back to solutions oriented. Like we want to solve the problem to make it better for the fans. And if we're making it better for the fans, let's make it better for the artist. And not just make it better for the artist, let's make it better for our team as well. And trying to look for those across the board. But if you have that mentality, you will be successful in this business.
So there's that experience level that when I know just in my own experience dealing with your team and having kind of walking through different scenarios of hey, we would like to put on this type of show, we'd like to put it here, we'd like to have this happen, and you guys come and say, okay, and you listen, and you'll say, okay, well, let's talk about what the ship really looks like. Let's talk about what that pool area really can handle, right? And in your expertise, you're not saying that you shouldn't do it. You're just saying what we've seen in the past is that what you're describing in that manner, it's not going to be as successful as you think it's going to be in your head. I know you're going to barrel through this. Well, whoever you are, you're going to make this thing work, but you just can't fit enough people here. That there's going to be a handful of people that are going to be disappointed here, and you know these things because you've been doing it for 25 years. So there's a lot of expertise, and not just the live events and the experience that you're bringing to the fans, but also the experience you're bringing to your artists. And the people who are renting the boat, their names on the boat, their faces are on the elevators and in the bathrooms. And the urinal cakes were weird, by the way. I don't think you should do urinal cakes anymore. That's not funny. But you're looking around and you're saying you're everywhere. This is your boat. We want to make you look amazing to your fans, so that when they walk away, they feel like, that was really cool. I got to hang out for 4 days with my buddies. My buddy's Creed. My buddy's wrestling guy and baseball teams and. That's just a really cool vibe.
It definitely is, and I mean it's you're right. It's utilizing our expertise to say this is work, this is not. But I love it. It really is a new challenge every day. We just did an event with our Keeping the Blues live event with Joe Bonamassa.
Cool.
We did it in Alaska. So we sailed out of Seattle and did a 6-night run and to come back and end up back in Seattle.
What time of year?
This was a couple weeks ago. So
okay, in the summer.
No. This is like, well, I guess not summer there.
September.
Summer there. So But the challenge when this is actually one of the goals when I joined Sixthman is like I want to do Alaska. Like I
Yeah.
want to do the Joy, which presented a whole slew of other challenges. And I wanted a bigger ship, so it was going to be the Joy. And I wanted to do Alaska. But what was fun about Alaska is we were set. We've always done a pool deck stage. We've
Okay.
always done certain things. Well, the parameters we had to install were there is no pool deck stage. Why isn't there a pool deck stage? Well, because there's sound ordinances, because bears maybe don't like sound, glaciers don't either.
Polar
So
bears are like, get off my lawn.
So yeah, the grizzlies are fans of that, and the whales, it just doesn't work for them. So there are sound ordinances. It's also weather. Like we are very fortunate by doing a lot of stuff on Miami and being a ship that moves, I can go around weather. So like, one of the biggest obstacles for like a land event is you can't move it. Well, guess what? I can. And that makes it great. Or I have the ability to move things down and, up off the pool deck. So, but I was like, let's not take the chance. Like this is going to be a too expensive adventure. And why, if we have a stage that's up there, but it doesn't get touched, why? Let's plan differently. So no pool deck stage. For weather, for sound ordinances, for all of it.
Okay.
So how are we going to maneuver 2,000 plus people through a ship where we've now just taken away
Your main venue.
The main venue. And so that was a challenge. We actually took, and you may remember this from being on the ship, Grand Pacific, which is a dining room. So it's a main dining room. It's also one of the biggest dining rooms. But we know
beautiful.
From our events that we don't necessarily, we need the main dining room, but we can reposition things other ways and try to figure it out. And so we turned it into a venue that was seated and had like this awesome club, like almost blues vibe style to it. But there was a lot of time and energy put into, okay, if we can't have this, how are we solving this? And really solving a complex math problem of like moving people around, setting a schedule up so we can constantly have things going on to keep people happy. But again, 25 years in, we're still trying to solve problems.
That's awesome.
On a ship that we've got ton of experience and expertise on, a lot of saltiness there, but we're like, hey, let's try something and see what we can.
But that's nice though, because in that particular case, certainly you could put them in the theater, but the theater only seats so many people, right? The stage is only so big. And so if you're in the ballroom, you have a little bit more room to breathe. And also you can be a little bit more inventive as to where the standing room is, where the seating is and things like that. So you've just created another theater inside one of the main ballrooms, but there's plenty of places to eat on the ship. You don't have to have it in the ballroom, right? No, that is really cool. So constantly learning, constantly trying to solve problems, and your staff. Where do you get your staff?
I'd say everywhere.
Like where do they come from? Like I know you have all your company. You have your finance and accounting people, just like and you have your marketing people, and you have all these. You have communications people. But where do they come from? Like what are their degrees that they bring in? What are they? What are they? I mean, are they come from SCAD? Are they coming from like other event producers? How do they come to Sixthman?
Well, you've got a lot of people that come in. I'd say the pipeline is fresh out of college, or this is their second job.
Okay.
I think maybe there's this when I say second job, we realize that first one, this is not what I want to do with my life.
No, I get this. I understand
I need to
this.
figure something
I understand
else,
this. Yes.
and this looks great, and let's see what I do. I think there's always this natural allure to live and having that experience, because it's something that, I don't care what your age is, you've experienced it, and there's a drawback to it. Even if you're an introvert, there still is something to being in a crowd and being a part of something that everyone else is a part of. So I think there's the natural people that want to get involved. So we've got a lot reaching out. I think now that our team is as big as it is, and then the contractor side of things too, we can always look to some of our contractors.
Sure.
Some of them come on full time, but others is a lot of it's really word of mouth.
Okay.
And I think that this is a stretch, but I think it works. You look at coming into an event almost like like military, from the standpoint of you really have to depend upon the people that are part of that team. And so there's a level of trust. If I'm making a recommendation, if I'm putting my name out there to say like, Nad, you've got to come work with us, it's because I trust you, and I know that you're going to take care of everybody here. So word of mouth, I think, is a big one for us, because if you're
going to vouch for them.
If I'm going to vouch for them,
yeah,
that truly means something, because I can't have you, and I don't say failing, because everyone fails from time to time. But I need to know that your heart's in the right place, and you're going to go for this, and this isn't just a job for you. I think for our stuff, if it's just a job, you're probably in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Unless maybe you're doing one of those things that like it can be a job.
Kind of like the shadow operators in the back, the accounting and finance, things like that.
Yeah,
that don't
it can be a job for them, but for others, it really can't be. It does have to be almost a way of life in a sense. So out of college, internships are key. The number of internships.
You do internships.
Oh, yeah.
And where do you get your interns from? Because you're based out of Atlanta, correct?
We are based out of Atlanta. So Georgia State, Kennesaw State, those are big pipelines. We started working with a company called ECOP, which is Entertainment Consortium. Basically, it is I'm gonna mess it up. I always mess it up, but they are kind of the glue between HBCUs.
Oh, cool.
And getting those campuses into internship programs. So we started an internship program with ECOP.
ECOP, okay.
So we've got some students coming from there, and really, I mean, we do put it out. So you can submit. You know, it doesn't matter where you're from. You can submit and be an intern for the company. So we're accepting those. And then a lot of times it does come from, again, recommendations could be from the other event world. I've got, my, former colleagues all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
They'll call me with like, hey, do you have anything going on? I've got someone that I think would be a perfect fit, for your organization. So a lot of that comes from that space. Sometimes we go outside of it because there's a large hospitality angle to it. And there is that comfort level. You have to be comfortable being in front of the guest.
Yeah.
That is a big piece of it.
And being humble
Yes.
in the same moment. I mean, because
Yep.
a lot of times, even though you've done everything right,
Yep.
they may perceive it as being off, and you just kind of have to eat it.
Yep.
And that's what hospitality is, right?
That is what hospitality is.
The customer is always right, that type of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Even though you put it there. We
sent you 17 emails,
Right.
called you and left 4 messages, sent some text messages. I can't do anything else, but you're like, you didn't send me anything. Like,
So I'm so curious. So when someone does an internship or someone comes in, again, I like how you say it's their second job, because a lot of times at the Bananas we have a lot of people, this is their first job.
Yeah, we have a lot of those too.
Yeah, and which I love, because you still have that energy, you still have that kind of that doe-eyed look of like there's still this energy of like what could be, and then
Right.
then kind of things start slowing down. It's like saying, okay, these are the parameters we need to run through, and I know that we don't want to be corporate for the sake of being corporate,
Yeah.
but there are certain things you have to do in order to make sure that
course.
you safeguard the company. So someone comes into your organization, what kind of skills are they going to learn so that, especially an intern, that not all interns are going to get the job for the full-time job. I mean, maybe some of them are just there just for that experience. I want to work on a cruise ship for a summer. It's like, okay, here's a great one to work on, right? What kind of skills are they going to learn inside that 6-month period? What you said your sailing season is what?
Our spring, I love how we call it spring, January, and then right to about May. It's the beginning of May.
Okay.
Give or take.
So staying out of the hurricane season and stuff if you can.
We call
right?
it shoulder season.
Okay. Shoulder season.
Because obviously, like the cruise line or
you
Norwegian.
cry on shoulders.
I mean, summer's vacation for everybody. So
Okay.
filling up a ship for them is not not a difficult thing. Whereas
Gotcha.
shoulder seasons can be a little more difficult. Our other season is the fall, and which
Okay.
will usually can start. Well, sometimes now it's even starting in September, but October going right up into about Thanksgiving.
Okay.
So you look at that and you're like, oh wow, 2 seasons, but that fall season, it's ending at Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
If you count the holidays, which
You're
everyone shuts
jammed.
down, then we start right back up again. So that break really isn't much of a break,
Yeah.
especially if we're trying to prepare for a January sailing. Like, again, we talk about the non-glamorous parts of it. Is like, yeah, you may be working on the holidays or holiday adjacent because we've got something going on. And I would say what you learned as an intern or even like your first time is that pace, that it's fast.
Okay.
It's always fast.
Yeah.
And if you are not, I think younger folk coming in, they have less things tying them down. They're probably single. They probably don't have kids. They probably don't have other responsibilities.
Right.
So their ability to travel, be gone, I think makes it, it's
Maybe they have a cat.
Yeah, exactly. Getting
They
a
have a
dog
dog.
sitter or something.
Don't get a dog.
I think they learn one balance of time. Like, how do I balance and prioritize is a big thing because everything is a fire. And so if everything's a fire, like
I
nothing's a
understand
fire,
this.
but like how do we help teach that? Like, so how do we prioritization? Asking the right questions. Is there a deadline on something versus saying like, hey, I need to get X from you. Great. When do you need that by? Is that a hard date? Is that a soft date? So asking some of those right questions I think they're learning early on. Hopefully they're
like the
learning
notorious, well, I sent them an email.
Exactly.
Like, no, that's a phone call.
Right.
Like, you need to have this now. Well, I sent them a text message. Not good enough.
Nope.
That's too asynchronous. Get them on the phone. Get them on a Zoom. I need to see somebody. Do you need this? Yes? Okay, done.
Good to go.
We're out.
Or the other part, and I think, and this is, a lot of people early in their careers are learning, when do you pick up the phone and say, this conversation shouldn't be had over email?
100%.
Like, it shouldn't be had over Slack, because I don't know what's been going on in your day. Like, your dog may have just peed all over the rug. Yeah. Your kid threw all the things out of the refrigerator because they're homesick and you're staying home with them. So you're already like in this frazzle, and your email tone may have come across not good.
It happens.
Yep. And so then now you're mad, like, oh my God, like, is Tim mad at me? Like, what's going on here? Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Pick up the phone.
Yeah.
Like, pick up the phone and have a conversation. And that is something that technology is beautiful in so many ways, but it has eroded that ability. Because I remember going back to, we'd fax offers in, like everything was a phone call. Getting in and having those personal relationships and actually, go to a city and meet people, that is starting to, in my opinion, come back and is useful in a lot of ways. But helping some of the younger people coming in to say, yes, it's okay. I know you may not call your best friend. That's perfectly fine. But for this, one phone call can save 20 emails.
100%.
Well,
and not only that, it, like you said, it saves the perception that, one, you just don't care. But also, that's something that we have to learn at our levels in the organization, that we could someone could ask us a question and we just fire off, no, I wouldn't do that. And all of a sudden they read it like, uh-oh, what did I just do? Oh no. And it's like, now they have this fear that, did I just do something wrong? Oh my goodness. Until you actually, it's like, no, I just meant you don't need to do that. But so even we need to work on that. That's why text messaging, emails, if we could stay away from emails, everybody wants to put things in writing. I get it. But sometimes some things don't need to be in writing.
Yeah.
But then also just text messages in and of themselves, or Teams messages. Like, we have all these platforms that we use Slack, that asynchronously, Slack, that you just fire it off. Someone asks you a question, you just fire it off, and then it's all in the who receives that communication, what state of mind they're in at the time.
Right.
If you were just having a joke in the cafeteria or whatever, and then you fire that off, they're like, oh yeah, okay, it's received with some levity, right? But if you just, like, that person's having a bad day, and all of a sudden you get this thing, you're like, uh-oh, I'm in the crosshairs. What's happening? But younger people, that's just the way they communicate.
That's over time too. I'm like, so this is not picking on Gen Z or anybody like that. Like, I walked in as X to say, like, like, you don't know those things, and you have to learn them. And I think that's the stuff that you're never learning. You're not going to learn that in college. Yeah. There's no degree that says, like, this is the appropriate way. You've got to be thrown in the fire. You have to figure it out.
That's and that's one of the things that when I look at the finance and accounting side, so our internships inside finance and accounting are very different than say being put on a cruise ship or something. I almost wish that the finance and accounting internships, I wish that they wouldn't go and do finance and accounting at all. I almost wish they would go and do something inside of storytelling, or like filmmaking, or like go and do an internship inside the Fox Theater, something where you're seeing something completely different, but there's like storytelling involved with this internship. Because when you get into finance and accounting, one of the biggest things that you can do to have an impact on your team and your client or whatever is to take these numbers and actually create a story as to what's actually happening here. And we're not very good storytellers by trade. We're not. Now I'm a very good BSer. Don't get me wrong. And a couple Guinnesses in, I could tell you quite a story, right? Quite a story. But just in general. So you have people coming into your organization and they're learning all of these new skills that. Again, first internship, it's probably like, oh my gosh, what just happened? But at the end of that summer, they're walking away with, man, what did I just prove to myself, right? Look at how fast paced it was. I was able to keep up. I know how to do this. I know how to relate to people who are maybe not having the best day, but that self-deprecation, that the ability to know that it's not your fault, but that you're going to fix it, right? That it's just that it's very human, and I think that when it all comes down to, especially being in the hospitality, and when you're in live events, you're essentially in hospitality. Yes. And if while you're doing it for your client, if you will, your artist, you're also doing it for yourself because you are representing the artist. Nobody knows who Sixthman is in the back. You are your artist's people. And so from that perspective, it really comes down to treating people the way you want to be treated.
Yes.
I mean, it really
coming down to the core is
it's so simple that it's one of those things, specifically inside finance and accounting. You know, I go to these live events, I see all these things, I see how people react to these experiences. It's why can't we emulate that inside the firm or the private company and the firm environment? People say that they do. Our clients are our most valuable assets. Our people are our most valuable assets. Okay, guys, that's great. It's also hogwash because we all know what it's like in there now. And you may have a great internal culture. Is that being communicated to your clients? Or when you start getting busy, do you forget that they're your client? They're also your friend. All right. So it's like I know you need me to tell you all the facts, but I'm going to tell you the facts in a way that one will make sense to you, but also I'm going to do it in a way that's not so brash. Like if it's bad news, we're not going to just say, "Oh man, you guys totally screwed up." Right? So you might as well start selling that stock. But you know, to understand like what are they going through? What like you might see something in the books that that might be of interest and maybe a challenge that they're going to be overcoming, but this might be their world caving in. And so how do you communicate that? Like, even though you're outside of the issue, it's not your fault. It's like when you know, little kid falls down, skins their knee, and you look around. It's like, is it my kid? Is it my kid? You find out someone else's kid, and inside you're kind of like, that's not my kid. But then you're like, oh no, the kid's skinned his knee. You know, oh no. Like that's the human part that should be coming out of you, right? So, but very similarly, that whole golden rule, it's if we can just put ourselves in the shoes of the other person before shooting off that email, before shooting off that text, before picking up the phone, especially the phone, because now they know your voice, or getting on a Zoom call and they're reading your body language, right? I think that's really important. And that's something I think in the hospitality industry, we learn very quickly of what works and what doesn't work. And those who are going to be successful for 25 years in the hospitality industry, when you are locked on a ship with all your folks, with your artists, your clients, what have you, there just needs to be that humility that's at play at all times. And that's not to be you're going to be walked over. You can still be assertive, but you can also do it in a very kind way.
I call it "Don't be a dick."
That's a good one.
Don't be a dick.
Yeah, that's the phrase that needs to be on that T-shirt, right? So, or at least on their next tumbler, right?
Yeah.
Well, hey, listen, Jeff Cuellar of Sixthman, CEO, too, the top of the heap. So if you have any problems, that's the guy. He's the beard's going to be gone by the next time you see him because his wife's going to make him shave it. But I really appreciate you being here and telling us about what your passion is.
Thank you for the amazing gift.
Coconuts, baby, coconuts.
Absolutely love it.
The vibe is there. So
it definitely is.
We're going to have some fun in February. But thank you very much for being here. And if you guys have any questions about Sixthman or want to maybe want to try something with your own firm, your own company, we will have information in the show notes of how to contact Jeff. I'll put his cell phone in there. He loves text messages, especially after 11 o'clock at night.
My favorite.
He's probably awake though. But yeah, you buy him a beer, he'll tell you anything you need to know. But thank you very much for being here on Business, Biceps, and BS.
I love it. Come stay out with us.
Let's do it.
Yeah.